What's going on YouTube today? We got a deck profile of Tenpai. I went first place with it today at locals. Not at the normal locals. Oh god, what was it called again? Goal. We went to a place called Goal this weekend. We had 15 or 16 players. I don't remember. How many do we have? Do you guys remember?
16 until Connor dropped.
16 until somebody dropped. Okay. So the deck played pretty well as I wanted it to. Like just, going second. I won every die roll, thankfully, so it made it a lot easier just to win. My matchups were Shining Sarcophagus. That was round one. I tried to record it, but I forgot to hit the record button because I'm smart. Round two, I played against... Oh, no. Wow. It's always the round two that I never remember. They'll come back to me. Oh, it's Kashtira Scareclaw. That was a 2-1. He game one metagamed me with Scareclaw Cash. Card's pretty good against this deck. Round three was against... Oh man, now I can't remember what round three was.
Who was it?
Oliver. I played against Voiceless Voice. And that was 2-0. I had Droplet game one for his board. And then game two, he just didn't have anything. He made me go first. I drew my I drew a D-Berry that was there for cross out. So, calling Ritual, and that was pretty strong. And then round four was against Chimera. We kind of just rolled the dice to see who would win, and I won the die roll. So, we just said that I won. Deck is very strong, obviously. A lot of people are starting to have success with it, and this is my version of it. For Tenpais, there's the 3 Pydra, 3 Chundra. These are negotiable, and then 2 Fadra. I do not like Fadra that much. I drew it every single game, pretty much. But it's just another name, and you can OTK with it with Droplet and stuff. The 3 Sangen summoning, terraforming to search it, and then 3 Kaiman. I'm not playing any extra field spell anymore. I did not want a brick, and I also was not playing Ancient Fairy in the extra deck because I decided to make my entire extra deck just Link climb base for the D barrier because everybody is just like respecting this deck a little too hard. And admittedly, there's probably too many links. So going forward, I'd probably play Ancient Fairy and maybe the field spell. And my field spell choice would be Secret Village. For non-engine, there's 3 Ash, 3 Ogre. These are pretty necessary. I guess I'll pull out the 9 necessary ones for the format, which is these 9. Ogre is probably the weakest of them. You could probably consider Valor to be more necessary than Ogre, but I think Ogre is ridiculous, even in decks that aren't Tenpai, because clearing the body is very important. And like one of the biggest bodies that this deck has an issue with is Fenrir. So like being able to clear a Fenrir off during your opponent's turn is really good. And then obviously like it's got the applications against Voiceless and decks like that. 2 Valor, 2 Mourner. This is just to spread diversity and cross out targets, which we'll get to here in a minute. 3 Droplet, 2 Storm. You definitely have to play Droplet in this deck, even in a hand trap build. Like, card's nuts, and Lightning Storm is also just nuts. Just being able to essentially just clear both aspects of the field off of 2 cards is crazy. And then that's it for the hand traps / board breakers. I am on 3 Crossout Designator. Your deck can play through 1. Your deck can sometimes play through 2. It definitely can't play through 3. So I wanted to have Crossout for the more important choke points, which basically is just Ash on this card, because they can interrupt everything else as long as you have Ash Crossout for that. And going forward, I'll probably play a Called By too, just to have the extra protection for it. But I just couldn't find room, so it's just a 3 Crossout. Also, the Crossout works really well against the Mirror, which a couple people in the area are playing, so... And then for the consistency, it's a 3-in-1 pot. This was Magnamut. Magnamut never came up. Literally never. Except for when you go first and you seals. But just skip the step and just summon the Pydra. And like this card overperformed, honestly. Like the only time it was bad is when I drew both of them. And I chose to use Desires because I needed multiple cards. And I drew 2 Sangen Kaiman and lost. because of that. That was my only game loss today. But the One Pot of Desires was fantastic. I can definitely see myself wanting to run like 2 or even 3 of it. And that's the main deck. Is 40 cards. For the extra deck, the Tenpai line, there's a lot of debate I see everywhere about Trident Dragon or Dragion. I'm sorry if your friend didn't have any or if you couldn't find any in bulk. But you definitely need this card to kill through Prosperity. Like, it's just not negotiable. If you don't want to play Prosperity, I guess in theory you can cut this, and I guess you could technically kill through these without through Prosperity, but it makes it so much harder when you could just summon this and actually just do 9,000 on a single card. So you should play it if you have access to it, but if you just don't want to spend the $100 on it, then I understand that entirely. The only generic Synchro I played was Odd Eyes. Like I said, I played a lot more Links. I wanted to like play around D-Barrier and Simul Archfiend. That card sucks, so don't play that, but I wanted to have some respect for it, despite it being not so great. And then the 3 Rose Dragons. Made all 3 of them, and all 3 of them came up. All 3 of them were amazing, and especially this one. I got to nuke so many boards with this today. It was great. And there was one game where I got to summon this, it got negated. I let it get negated. So then I could summon this, and then nuke their board and their graveyard. That's pretty gross. So, and the way you'd summon it is by like summoning Ash, by the way. That's the only way you can do it. And then for the links, Striker Dragon, Dark, Hida, Seals, and then the Snake Eye OTK package. So you might be questioning why I'm playing Striker Dragon but no SP. And it's a fair question. I didn't want to play SP because if I'm going to go into it and use its first effect, I can't attack directly. And there aren't a lot of ways to kill through that, so I didn't want to put that like liability out front. So the reason we're playing Striker Dragon still, you can summon Striker off of one of your guys, and then if you have the other body, which most of the time you will, you'll use Striker Dragon to go into Dark, because this is the only Dark in the deck, would be Striker Dragon. And then you can Dark like their SP, or you can Dark against certain decks like Horus-based decks, and then you can climb into Princess. Princess will bring back the fire, and then you do the OTK line. So this was just to facilitate Dark and give more options in the extra deck to have the OTK package. And I did make every single card in this extra deck at least once, which was really cool. So I wouldn't change anything really out of this. I guess I didn't make Meteor Burst. So you never really need it. It's just kind of there for the Yubel matchup. But going forward, I probably will play Samurai Destroyer still, just because it does have a little bit better use against some other just like roguish decks. The side, 3 Santa Claus. It's important that this is a kaiju that puts itself in defense mode. And the only reason it's important is for Pydra. Because like your main play is going to be summoning Pydra and then fetching Kaiman. And you can attack into Pydra with this and not take the damage. And any other kaiju would be in attack mode in case it got stopped or whatever. So that's the main use. You could, in theory, just play a kaiju. But this, in my opinion, is just the correct one. 3DD Crow. Cards broken in this format. Bestials are kind of mid. Not because of like just, you know, grave removal wasn't very good, but like this hits the voiceless spells, the Pearly cards, which are starting to see a lot more play, and just has better application. In a YCS or a regional, I'd probably play these over the Bestials, but for a local scene, I could definitely see playing Bestials over them. Just because of like, you know, your side deck should always be based towards what you're playing in, not what the meta is. So like, if you know, like my locals doesn't play any Snake Eye except for one player. So like the Bestials are probably just better in general against them. So yeah. 3 Nib. I think this card in the main deck sucks. That's all I got to say about that. Nib is very good when you can catch people with it, but so many decks are playing like sub-engines, like Horus or Runic or something like that, where it's much harder to just like nib them and then pass. So you have to really pair it with other stuff. And The best ways to pair it are by cutting things like Droplet, Lightning Storm. 3 Heat Wave. Heat Wave is broken. If you hear a noise in the background, it's a very hyper doggy. The 2 people in the room are trying to contain her, but she can't be stopped. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Sheila.
Those are my that's my explanation for Heat Wave, is a force to be reckoned with.
Good segue.
Just broken. And 3 D-Barrier. She really does not like this card, apparently. D-Barrier is D-Barrier. Originally I was going to play a Samoa Archfiend and a Spellbound and just run these all as crossouts, like crossout targets. But Spellbound and Samoa Archfiend... Well, Samoa Archfiend actually just sucks. And then Spellbound is something that not a lot of people are catching on to yet, so I'm going to wait. I think Spellbound's very good. So I think it's going to see a lot more play. And we'll obviously change based on that. So like I said, your side deck should always be tailored to your local. Like this, I have a lot of like Chimera branded players, Voiceless Voice. This is like the only card you have to play no matter where you're playing. And then just more hand traps to, you know, fix your game plan. That's it for the deck profile. Tenpai, you know, it's kind of solved at this point. It's kind of just like picking how you want to play it, and this is, I think, one of the best ways to play it. I don't think I'll be recording much more of this deck going forward, just because, like I said, it is pretty solved at this point, and not a lot can really be changed to fix it. But we'll have a more fun deck coming up next week. I am going to be playing Ancient Gear next week. I just didn't want to, you know, make the effort of actually just going through my stuff and building it. So if you did enjoy, remember to comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. We have some feature matches recorded as well for this week, so those will be coming up. And then hopefully next week we'll do some POV matches. And that's it. Thanks for watching.